During the last few years, illustration has become so trendy that now we have design tools that allows people to customize and create basically templated illustration, which makes all websites look kind of the same. So on today's video, I want to show you how some companies and websites are using illustrations in a very creative and original way, and illustration that can still be a fantastic way for your brand and website to stand out if you use it correctly. So with that said, let's dive into the first example. So the first example is this company called Bow, and it's actually a tech company, and you can immediately see that whenever we have kind of like something that becomes standardized, then people are trying to run away from it. So now they're trying to go with a more handcrafty kind of feeling, and even a more artistic kind of feeling. So this is a tech company, but it looks very feminine and crafty, and you know, with this kind of like noise that they have here, and they're still managing to combine it fairly well with showing interfaces and dashboard for a tech company and do the icons in this kind of like style that they came up with, which is kind of original. And again, this illustration is very abstract-y, but they're still making it work and still managing to tell the story of their brand, their company, and what they're selling here. So I do think that this is a way to take the original way of making illustrations into a more, again, artistic place, an abstract place, and make it stand out and a little bit more memorable. So this is the first example bar. The second example I want to show you is this one, which is a floor, and I don't even know how to pronounce this, but this is some kind of a garden here as well. If I'm going to zoom in into the illustration, you can see that this was literally kind of like hand-drawn, and you can actually see the strokes here. And so this is, we do have this kind of like a flat trend, the flat illustration, but because this was hand-drawn, because you have this, you know, this is not a template, so you can have the character, both the character and the leaves here have kind of like the same shape, i.e. that goes from very small to very large. I think this looks really great. They managed to combine this with a lot of illustration and the general color scheme of the website. And still, it looks good, it looks unique. It doesn't look like the illustration that we're seeing all over, especially in tech, and so I love this example of how they're bringing a little bit of illustration and fun into this otherwise kind of serious and down-to-earth with a lot of very high-quality photography. I love it. I love how although you can see that the background color is changing from green to yellow, the illustration still works. We're using the same color palette, so I really love this example. By the way, all links to these websites are below this video. Now the next example that I want to show you is from IDEO. If you don't know IDEO, it's a huge kind of like very famous design company, and they're having here kind of like a summary page of 10 years of impact. What I love about this style is that they're combining some illustration with photography with some kind of like handwritten stuff, and they're animating it. So this creates a very unique style, right? I'm not sure, is this 3D, is this just 2D illustration that is being animated? It looks very hand-drawn, but still very clear color palette, very clear style, and the fact that it's animating and look handmade, very unique. I really love this style. In general, I really love the combination of illustration with photography that kind of looks like a little bit of collage style. I think this becomes really unique. In this case, they've also took this into kind of like making infographics out of it, so I really liked what they did here. Again, combining illustrations and photography that are using the same color palette looks very unique, very custom. And I think this is really a beautiful outcome. Also drawing on top of photograph. Again, the combination of illustration and photography always adds fun to the design. This is a really great example. IDEO's 10 years of impact. The next one that I want to show you is this one for Downtown Music Service, and the beautiful thing here is that they have just used one single line to create all of the illustration, and you can actually see the illustration being drawn as you scroll down. Now this is fairly easy to do right now. You can animate the line very simply in After Effects, create a load animation, and then connect it to the scroll of the website. So this is very simple, technically, but it's still very unique, still very playful as you scroll. It doesn't look like all of these templating animation, so this is a really a great creative way to tell your whole story with one line of illustration. So I think this is a really great minimalistic approach for illustration, again, on top of imagery, alongside typography. I think this is a really beautiful example of using illustrations within a website. The last example that I want to show you is from this Japanese museum, and you can count on Japanese to do some very cool and creative stuff here. So first of all, we have this kind of like parallax effect that as we are scrolling, we're getting into the story, and we have these illustrations separately coming from all different direction, giving us kind of like a 3D feeling into this. On top of it, they have used this kind of like a noisy effect on top of the illustration to make it feel a little bit handmade, although it's completely not handmade. And you can even see that the noise is staying flat as the illustration moves here. but somehow this does feel Japanese. And also note here, there's something that I've said over and over again in this video, the combination of adding imagery together, combining images, like flat, old-style images together with colorful illustration. It looks very, very cool. It looks very, very original, and again, looks very, very Japanese. So what I love is the way that artists and designers can take a style that may have been used over and over again and instead create something original and bring their own culture and unique, topic of design into the website. Alright, so these were my favorite Illustrator websites that I've seen recently. Again, links to them are in the description below. Let me know what kind of websites do you want me to cover in the next top 5 video that's coming out next month. Of course, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe for more design freelancing, and I'll see you in the next video.